Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman. Welcome to Illustrate to Educate. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly objective videos on topics that matter. Did you know that the average surface temperatures on Earth have risen more than 2 degrees Fahrenheit over the past 100 years? In this video, we'll dive into both sides of the debate on whether climate change is caused by humans or not. Before we get into the debate, let's look at a brief history of what's brought us to this point today. Since 1859, scientists have known that greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, absorb heat from the sun due to discoveries by Irish physicist John Tyndall. Since that point, many scientists during the 1900s have debated whether the carbon dioxide from fossil fuel combustion or natural atmospheric processes have caused the change in the climate. In 1988, NASA scientist James Hansen presented testimony to the U.S. Senate stating that increases in carbon dioxide were warming the planet and changing our climate. At the time, MIT meteorologist Richard Lindzen criticized these findings, arguing that computerized climate models were unreliable and that natural processes would balance out any warming caused by increased carbon dioxide. Also, events like Al Gore's documentary An Inconvenient Truth in 2006, the United States withdrawal from the Paris Agreement, and catastrophic weather events have kept this debate hot. Now, let's start this debate. What's the consensus of the scientific community? The pro side believes that there is overwhelming scientific consensus that human activity is primarily responsible for climate change. They point to the 97% of climate scientists and most scientific organizations that agree that human activity is extremely likely to be the cause. They point to nearly 12,000 peer-reviewed studies and say that only 78 of them reject the idea that global warming has anything to do with human activity. They say those 78 studies have serious flaws and bias in their research. Those on the con side believe that human activity is not responsible for global climate change, and there is a report that lists more than 1,000 scientists who disagree that humans are responsible. They argue against the pro side, saying that from the 12,000 studies on climate change, only around 4,000 even expressed a view on the issue, and of those, just 64 said that humans are the main cause. A Purdue University survey found that 47% of climatologists challenged the idea that humans are primarily responsible for climate change and instead believe that climate change is caused by an equal combination of humans and the environment. How does each side view global warming? The pro side believes that rising levels of human-produced gases have created a greenhouse effect that traps heat and causes global warming. These gases from burning fossil fuels to heat our homes, drive our cars, and run factories are being trapped and are warming the planet. They say methane from agriculture traps 84 times as much heat as carbon dioxide. A combination of other gases like nitrous oxide have warmed the Earth around 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The con side believes that the Earth's climate has always warmed and cooled, and the 20th century rise in temperature is within the bounds, plus or minus 5 degrees Fahrenheit, of natural temperature fluctuations over the past 3,000 years. They point to a study that says 20th century temperatures are similar to those that occurred around 1000 to 1100 AD, and even higher temperatures have occurred during the Roman Empire and medieval periods. What about a rise in sea levels? The pro side believes that the rise in sea levels are happening at an unprecedented rate due to human activities. They point to their evidence of warming ocean water and receding glaciers around the world. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, since 1970, 87% of the rise in sea levels is due to human activities such as burning fossil fuels. They point to a 2019 UN report that says sea levels could rise by 3 feet in the next 80 years, causing the displacement of hundreds of millions of people. Those on the con side believe that sea levels have been steadily rising for thousands of years, and the increase has little to do with human activity. They point to studies that say during the Pleistocene Ice Age, 18,000 years ago, sea levels were about 400 feet lower than they are today, and have been slowly rising ever since, and that has all been due to natural variability to changes in the ocean and precipitation patterns. Lastly, how do they explain the recent weather events? The pro side believes that human-caused global warming is changing weather systems, causing an increase in hurricane activity and making heat waves and droughts more intense and more frequent, and the evidence points to it in every state according to the National Climate Assessment Report. They say there's evidence that globally 75% of extremely hot days are attributable to warming caused by human activity, and that it has increased the likelihood of wildfires, such as the ones that raged across Australia in 2019 and 2020, by 30% since 1900. The con side believes that the increase in hurricane activity and other extreme weather events are due to natural weather patterns. They point to a report from Colorado State University that says human-produced carbon dioxide has little or no significant effect on global tropical cyclone activity, including hurricanes like Sandy, Ivan, Katrina, Rita, Wilma, and Ike. They say that the increase in hurricane activity between 1995 and 2015 is primarily driven by natural ocean currents, and when it comes to wildfires, they point to failed policies on clearing brush, too much population density, and people who set fires either deliberately or through carelessness. Did you enjoy this video? Hopefully it gave you a good introduction into the climate change debate. Please like and share the video, subscribe to Illustrate to Educate, and comment on your thoughts about whether humans are to blame for climate change. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos to the right.